you know this all out. No killing me kitana now. He did do me wow wow wow. Start on my intana. Craving on all out. No killing me kitana.
Government policy does not support youth in this country. So if you say you have any idea, one day, one way or the other.
The conversations are louder than imagined. The expectations are greater. The demand for quality blueprints needed to make informed decisions is constantly being reviewed.
You can't start hiding under party or anything. We are leaders that are entrusted by our people. Come and speak on their behalf.
The Situation Room on 98.3 Milan FM provides the platform where all of your demands are met. Issue-based conversations about politics, policies, leadership and governance in Nigeria and around the world. Join us every Mondays through Fridays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we engage and interact towards setting the agenda for proper accountability and public engagements. The Situation Room is here. We welcome the roommates.
Okay, good afternoon, and I want to especially welcome you to Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Today is the 14th day of the 8th month of year 2023. The pace at which this year is moving so fast. I was having a joke with someone over the weekend, and I said, if you actually, took a loan at the bank by maybe January, and you promised them December, I'm sure by now, especially with the, with what the Nigerian economy is saying, you probably will be asking yourself if December can just be months or many, many months away. I mean, it's really been tough, trying to put all of your businesses together, whether you run on a large-scale employment level or you just have a small scale, small, medium, scale enterprises. Well, so today on the show, I would focus more on discussing the Nigerian economy. Would form, basically the conversation will be around the audits, the CBN annual reports that was released last week. Over the weekend, I took my time. I think yesterday afternoon, yes, I took my time and I read through, the content of the reports. And as much as I don't even have all of the information about it, as much as I don't have unlimited information about or interpret it in the best way I can. From the basic that I could pick from the report, it's very clear that the last 8 years, the Nigerian economy had witnessed some real level of, bad credit system. And I think that's just the summary of what I can give to that. But Mr. Yinka Sidiku will join us on the show. He's a banker, he's a business analyst, he's an expert in analyzing government policies, and he would help us understand all of these things, especially how he's someone that I've read quite a lot of stuff about. He's been on the show, I think, about once or twice. And, he has at several times shared some form of optimism about the government of, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I would still want to find out if he still shares the same level of optimism as things are right now. There are projections that the dollar could go a little higher than it is right now. Ultimately, it will affect the cost of, petrol. I'm not being a pessimist. I'm not trying to, just set things up. But it's just the reality of what it is. And like I said on Thursday, there's nothing we discuss on this space, on this platform, on any of our political shows. If it's Political Roundtable, 6 to 8 p.m. on Sunday, Situation Room, Mainland Focus, Trends in the Papers, whatever it is, or even Voices at the Top, Fridays, 7 to 8 p.m. It is none, it has any political coloration around it. It is simply what the reality is put into our faces. There's no market that that sets aside political affiliation. There's no fuel station where you run into and they say because you're a member of party XYZ, you can buy petrol for 200 per liter. Like they would always say, when the rain falls, it falls on everybody. So this one has nothing to do with your political affiliation. And one of the worst things that I get to hear is people saying, oh, we told you. You mean people have the right to make their political decisions. However, if it turns out good or bad, there are more constructive ways, to bring people's attention to probably decisions that you didn't think was appropriate. But you're not coming out to, spite people because of your political decision. If the country is good, it's good for everybody. Now that the country is not particularly as much as we think it should be, it affects everybody. So the fact that you voted for a party, or you felt your party didn't win, or you felt your party deserved to win, it doesn't mean you now say, we told you people. No, it's not like your life is better than the people that voted for this particular party in government. It's not like the fact that you stayed out or you didn't vote or you voted for a candidate that didn't win election. It's not enough for you to now come out and say, well, we told you people, now on I go explain tire. It feels like, there's a separate place where other people get their own commodities at the normal price. I've not found that space. If you do, my name is OPEYEMI Akin. I would like you to take me to that space. Well, I'm trying to link up with my guest today on the show, and together we're going to analyze the CBN audits, and from there, I would ask if, we are searching any danger, and if we are, what are the prospects? How bright are the future for the Nigerian economy? Because if you look at some of these things, it looks like it goes beyond, I buy Maggi 10 naira today, it's become 15 naira tomorrow. The audits, the CBN, maybe if you've not read it, I would really suggest that you go over it and maybe you can search it out. I know there are a lot of, media houses that are really trying their best to simplify and break it down, make some of us understand the content of the audit. But like I said, I'm not trying to raise dust. It's just the reality. The document is in the public space. Okay, let me talk to my guest. Mr. Yinka Sidiku joins us on the show. He's an economic expert. He's a banker. He's a money man. That's what I call him. Very sought after, by the way. Good evening. Welcome to the Situation Room, live on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Thank you very much for having me. Good afternoon, our listeners.
Yeah, it's always my pleasure when you join us on the show. It there are times I've had you, and then I just go back on and I'm like, I just listen to the program again, and you just complicate things for me the more. But I think today I would want us to have as simple as the conversation can be, so that everyone on the street that is listening to us today can understand where the Nigerian economy is presently. When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu make the announcement for the subsidy, by the way, a lot of things that are happening right now are tied around the removal of the subsidy. We're going to come to the floating of the naira. Then we're going to come to the CBN audit report that was released last week. But let's look at it now. The moment the president decided to officially announce the removal of the subsidy on the 29th of May, it immediately, snowballed into increments in petroleum product prices. Petrol went up, diesel went up, everything went up. Few weeks later, it went more, and then I just started asking questions. When the government said they want to hit the ground running, when the government said, subsidy is scam, is fraud, it would have to leave. Should Mr. President have waited for the audit report that happened that was released last week before the floating of the naira? Those are the things we're going to look at on the show today. So let's start from here. I'm sure you've read the audit report, Mr. Sidiku. Hello.
Yes, I've seen the audit report, the CBN audit report.
Okay.
I've seen it.
I'm sure you've seen it. So let's start from here. How much trouble do you think the Nigerian economy is at the moment? Or let me put it this way: how much more trouble do you think the economy will slide into, especially with the audits, with the reports that was published by the CBN? The times doesn't look good. The credit, the lending rate doesn't look positive. All of the indicators and the indices don't share. It doesn't even build any form of optimism in the minds of the people. Talk to us. For some of us that don't have an idea of how these things are operated, break it down for us, Mr. Sidiku.
Thank you very much, OPEYEMI. When we invited you to the program earlier this morning, we were asking that we should bear it all and we don't have to keep anything in order for us to be able to properly educate our audience. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do this afternoon, right? So we spoke about the CBN audit report. The report shows what Nigeria economy did by year end December 2022, which represents a profit after tax of 103.8 billion, an increment of about 75.1 billion if we compare it year on year. And they also show us the report, audited report for 2016, 2017 to 2021. Now, what they assumed from that report was a gain of profits that we have seen an increment of about 75.1 billion as reported. So, ordinary man on the street will ask you, if CBN keeps saying that they have good monetary policies on the ground and they are making so much money, how come we still have naira being devalued every day? How come we still have dollar gaining more weight over naira every day? What are the things that CBN needs to do that they have not done right? Have they done the volatility test to be able to see what they have done year on year, to see why these things are going up and down every day? That's the question. So the answer to your question is that it is a very, very difficult time for Nigeria. I will tell you that I don't expect that things would come out or come down immediately. Things will not come down immediately. In fact, people should expect that very soon naira to dollar will go or cross over 1,000 naira. And if you are lucky enough that there's no increment on how much fuel is being sold on the international market, maybe we'll be buying at 700 naira by the end of this month. But if, as a matter of fact, based on available evidences, numbers that are available to us, if the price of crude oil increase on the foreign market, then definitely we will see another rise that will be going towards 750 or 800 naira in the price of crude oil per liter.
Per liter.
Yes. Now, this is as a result of so many other things, but this, among other factors that we have, is the price of naira to dollar. Naira has now appreciated reasonably in the past 2 months. In fact, this quarter, as we have added words that we have always added before. So the truth that I will tell you and our audience is that we should build up for more hard times to come, because this is not something that is easy. It is there for everybody to see. We are very much really producing more. We are not exporting. Our refineries are supposed to help us gain more assets. Our moribunds are not working. So businesses are closing up, small businesses are closing up, multinational companies that are supposed to come are not coming. The multinationals that we have right now are closing up because they cannot get access, and other ones who are also doing fine are repatriating their cash. When they are repatriating this cash, they are doing it in dollars. So whatever that we have at dollars in our reserve is still further depleted by this move. So I don't know. Thirdly, when FG starts rolling out palliatives, maybe a very, very, very slim and thin maybe things will change. I don't know how much it will affect other men on the streets, but we should all brace up for a very hard time to come.
Okay. It's surprising though, with what you just said now. I've actually spoken to you a couple of times, off the radio, while you've been the guest on the show. I've seen a lot of write-ups that you've done, Mr. Sidiko. I've seen you, make public presentations, and at different times, you've always expressed some form of optimism about the ability of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his economic team, to fix the Nigerian economy. That had been your optimism. And I want to ask you, do you still share the same level of optimism as at Wednesday last week? The Naira rose to the highest against the dollar in the history of the Naira, 951 in the parallel markets. There are speculations the price of commodities, the price of petrol rather, would go up. Ultimately, the price of commodities will go up. Price of importation, it's really crazy right now, having to bring things into the country because of the rate of the Naira to the dollar. Do you still share that optimism you used to share, that the president can actually fix all of these problems? They will come straight to the CBN report itself. They are part of the report that I would quote and read out, then we'll discuss. But let me ask you again, are you still sharing the same level of optimism that you had built up to this election and at the start of this administration?
Good question. Yes, I still feel that there are a lot of things that can be done in order to ameliorate the worst conditions that we are in right now as Nigerians, ordinary men on the street. I believe so much that if things are done right, a lot of things can still be done to cushion the effect of this economic impact on ordinary Nigerians. And what are the things that I think the president can do? Three things will come to mind. The first thing that they need to do is to first, stop everything about borrowings. You can no longer do, but that's the fact that our credit rating is CP plus from IMF, from World Bank. We have not yet hit our debt ceiling, but we can
so that means those agencies can still give us loans.
Yes, they can still give us loans. In fact, they are even asking us to come take loans in order for us to cushion all these hardship that we're facing. But the problem is, if someone is asking to come and take something that will take more straight from you, you should be able to caution yourself. Right now, about 76% of our total revenue as a country is what we use to pay the interest on our loan.
So we've not started paying back the loans. We're just servicing the loans for now.
We are servicing it. Let us even use that word. We are servicing the loan. Let's assume that Nigeria is making, let's say 1.3 billion, in terms of revenue. Then we are servicing our loan is about 900 million naira. It doesn't really make sense. Even in our personal lives, let us give this down to our personal lives. As a man in the house, you are earning 9,000 naira per month. Cost of living and food, transportation, and any other thing, school fees and everything is gulping about 8,000 naira to 90,000 naira.
So you have only 10,000 naira left.
How do you intend to pay the loan that you take? So it's a very, very dire situation that we have. So you have to cut down on borrowing henceforth. Also, the cost of governance is too much. The amount Nigeria is spending on running governance, the operationalities of our government is too much. So we don't have to have senators or honorable members who have 128, 78. This country can no longer survive on those kind of excess payments. We cannot continue to do that. Governor who has about 20, what do you call it now, convoys, should try and reduce it to maybe 10 at the minimum.
Mr. Sidiku, let me ask you. I've been caught up in, government officials' convoys, governors, senators, president, and if you say they should cut down the convoy to 10, what exactly are public office holders doing with a convoy of cars that has 10 vehicles in them? They are going to be seated in one. I mean, is 10 not even enough? Is it not even more than enough?
No, they will tell you that they have to carry escorts, they have to carry ambulance, they have to carry ordinance, they have to carry, of course, those are the things that comes with the paraphernalia of office, you understand that. But what we are talking about is that if you can take 10, why take 20? Because if you are going to use 1 million to service 10 escorts, that means you are going to use 20 million to service 20 that you don't really need. So they have to cut down on that cost. Then third, which is very, very important, probably the most important aspect of what the president can do, that President Tinubu right now can do, is to ensure that the policies that they are making are people-oriented, people-centered policies. The policies are good on paper, but the aftermath of that policies are telling very, very difficultly on Nigerians. Imagine the number of subsidy all of a sudden without necessarily providing for palliatives that people would use to cushion the effect of that subsidy removal. It's unfortunate. Nobody would want a successful government like this. Things are supposed to be done in order. Bottom-up system of policy is what we should be using. People cannot sit there in Abuja and assume that they know what is happening in the state. Or people sit there in Akure or in Lagos and believe that they know what's happening at ATS for the government. It has to be a bottom-up policy. People at the grassroots should tell the government what they want, what they need. Not government telling people how to serve them. That's part of the problem that we have. Government assuming that they know the problem of the citizens. They don't know it. They don't even feel it. They have to first drill down into the issues that are primarily for the citizens, not secondary issues. So policies in terms of monetary policy, in terms of exchange rate, creation of jobs, giving access to credit to MSMEs and all other multinationals that would need it to survive.
Okay, Mr. Sidiku, we'll come and talk about the way forward. You've actually given us a few of them. Reduce our borrowing, cut down the cost of governance, provide palliatives, maybe tax vacations for small scale and medium business. We'll come to talk about that. But there's a part in the CBN, audit that was released, and the headline is reckless lending. And let me read these lines to you. The central bank's lending to the Nigerian government through the short-term overdraft known as Ways and Means had ballooned 30 times over to 23.2 trillion between 2015, when former President Muhammadu Buhari took office, and the end of last year. The credit be paid in the same year of borrowing. Now, I understand what this means very well, as much as I don't have an idea about governance, but I understand what this means. How reckless had the CBN been in the last 8 years?
To understand the program that they are spending on. Now, if you ask anybody, the first point of call is the Anchor Borrowers program. Do you understand? A lot of money was spent on Anchor Borrowers program. Now, we say before that when you give loans to individuals, that they don't take it to the farm as expected, right? But now, government is now saying that they want to do implement. They want to give implement, they want to give seedlings, they want to give what they call it, fertilizers to farmers. Now in this situation, we have channels, we have the opticals, then we have the people who take from the opticals. The likes of the Dangotes of this world, the Gua of this world are the major players in this sector. So if government now says that they don't want to give loans directly to farmers in terms of cash, let us start giving you implements. Let's give you seeds. Let us give you fertilizers in order for you to be able to grow your product or your farm produce. Now, the question now goes to who are the people that CBN gives this loan to? The farmer that, the ones that grow, what is the impact of security on their farm produce? What is the impact of natural disaster like droughts, like flooding on their produce? What are the things that are actually returned back to circulation? So there are processes to this thing. So if CBN said they are giving out loans, right? What's the measure at which they were given? So it's a very, very difficult thing. Farmers also, Nigerians, we have our own problems too. Farmers receive implements, they receive seedlings, they receive fertilizer. Instead of them to go back to the farm,
They resell them.
and grow. They go back to the open market and sell them cheap. What government sold to you at 5,000 naira, you sold it on the open market at 800 naira. So you see, this is interconnected problems that have to do with government and the people. Why you cannot blame the people? Because government did them those things. They don't have anything to eat. You have to be able to raise funds one way or the other.
So are you admitting to the failure of the NSIPs that we have in the country? I mean,
yes, yes. There are a lot of lucrative bottlenecks, racism that happen in this bill that we're giving out. Many of them don't even get. See, but okay, let me tell you how this works. Actually, you have to have an association, right? This association would, on behalf of the people or farmers in that association, take implements from government. Most times, most times when these farmers, when the leader of this association take this implement, they don't even take it to the local government or to the rural area where the farmers are. They just take it from the government and take it to the market and sold it. And government that is even trying to steal money normally, we say that they are giving large implement that they are selling it. It's just connected.
I mean, it's funny,
Like a chain of,
but it's not even funny. Now, let me ask you before we open the conversation up a little bit. Let me ask you. You said the only way we can actually increase the strength of the naira against the dollar is to also increase our export potentials. Now, there are a lot of commodities that Nigerians can produce to take care of our needs and even export. But let's talk about the quality of our locally made products. I mean, you look at, for instance, the local rice. I think that's like the one that affects everybody. When the government closed the border, you look at the local rice, for instance, and then you want to compare the level of the local rice to the ones that are imported, they are certainly not matching up. You look at some of the made in Nigerian product. Now, you need to give it to some of these guys. The quality of some made in Nigerian products maybe not compete with the very best around the world, but I mean, it's good enough. But there are also some that I cannot even pass the shores of this country to neighboring country, not talk of taking them to Europe or America and all of that. Where does the government need to come in this? And also don't forget that we still have the issue of insecurity. In fact, there's been constant call for state of emergency to be declared in Zamfara now because of the killings that are refused to stop. Sometime last week, about 22 people or thereabout were reportedly killed in a village in Plateau State. In Kaduna, there are still reported cases of killings and attacks and all of that. So how does the government needs to come in all of this? If you say we should increase our local production so that we can tap into our export potentials, we don't even feel secured. How can the government come in at this point?
I think that's a very good question, but we have to look at why naira is even losing value in the first place, right? Why is naira losing value, or why is it being devalued against the dollar? Now, we are doing more imports than exports.
Obviously.
The pressure on foreign exchange market is so high. People are going to UK every month to go to school. People are going to Cyprus. They all need dollar, $4,000, $2,000. So the pressure on foreign exchange market is so high. Our inability to be able to find a lasting solution to the problem of inflation, like I used to tell people, is very, very sad. It's sad. Inflation keeps increasing. Last time we checked it about 22.5, right? So we have to be able to bring down inflation to a reasonable number that our economy can accommodate for now. Corruption. The level of corruption in this country is I don't know. There's more than anything now. Nigeria government needs to declare state of emergency of corruption. The level of corruption is so high. Our gross demand for dollar also has to reduce. Insecurity, all those things, have to be curtailed. What can we do? We have to expand exports. Our rice has to be completely processed to meet international standards in Nigeria first. If we cannot export rice, we cannot export cashew, we cannot export food or refined oil, all those things where we have comparative cost advantage, we will still keep looking for effects that we can never get. So that is the first thing we need to do, expand our export capacity. We have to find a way to ease the pressure on our exchange, on our foreign exchange market. And one of the best ways to do that is to give value to Naira. Whatever that we are producing in Nigeria, and that goes to your question, whatever that we can produce in Nigeria, let us produce more. If you have more demand, if you have more supply, the demand for dollar will reduce. And the demand for dollar that's above the demand of Naira is what is killing our Naira. And we have been advised before. What bank has told us that? IMF have told us that. But these are the things we're supposed to do before we now say we want to remove subsidy. We are not exporting anything. Our foreign exchange market is weak, and we are removing subsidy. Who will pay for it? So you see, all these things has to be seriously looked into. If not, seriously, we will keep doing the same thing steadily, and we will expect different results. Then the issue of interest rates, we also need to look at it. OPEYEMI, I will advise the government right as I speak to you, and I put economists on several fora. Let us increase our interest rate. If we increase interest rate, the appetite for loans that ordinary Nigerians will reduce. Then we will have more money to spend in our hands. Imagine bank loans being increased every day, 25%, 30%, and 6%. Some banks fintech 46%. So it's too high. If it's too high and people are not spending money, whatever people are getting, they are using to pay interest. We are just giving our lives like Nigeria. You are receiving a salary of 50,000. Interest that are taking a rate at 7,000. You have 20,000 to go and pay house rent, to go and pay school fees. So people need to move away from loan. People have to start cutting spending and seeing how they can reduce what they spend per time. We have to reduce drastically the gross demand for dollar in this country. Our quest to have more dollar domination over our Naira is what is killing our economy.
Mr. Sidiku, now if you say that our demand for Naira is for dollar is killing, but I mean, if you look at the Nigerian economy, we are almost 80% dependent on things that we import into this country. In fact, I just read somewhere recently that the Nigerian government has actually banned importation of stockfish from Norway. And if you check, Nigeria is almost about the second largest importer of stockfish, all the way from Norway. I'm sure a lot of people don't even have an idea of this information. That's how much that's how much we rely on, some of these foreign goods. And I'm asking you again, how should the government prioritize fixing this problem? Because whether you like it or not, if we agree that the market is going to determine the price of petrol, that means you are literally saying, you know what, if you wake up in the morning and I bring in my own supply, my own import, because I have my license, and I choose to sell for 900 naira, the government does not have a control over that. How long do you think this would last? There's no way any economy would survive if the small-scale businesses are dying. The businesses that employs 5 people, 3 people, 10 people, the restaurant owners are groaning under heavy pain People are not even buying things from them, and the tax is still killing them. What do you think the government should prioritize the most at this point? You're an economist, you're a banker, you give all of these experts, and I'm asking you again to do the same. In terms of the quick fix, because we cannot continue to rely on long-term plans from the government. You have to be alive to enjoy what the government is planning for the next 1 year. So in terms of the quick fix, Mr. Olayinka Sidiku, what should the government prioritize right now as we speak?
Well, you have said it all. But if you ask me what I want the government to focus on, and I will explain this in a way that people will understand, I'll be careful not to use any term or terminology that will confuse anybody. You understand? Okay, the fastest things that we need to do right now, in fact, that is chief among other choices that we have, is to reduce our importation of goods. Commodities that we can produce. Imagine you just gave us an example of stockfish. How can you reconcile the fact that Nigeria still imports stockfish? But that's just by the way. Like I said earlier, goods where we have comparative cost advantage. I mean, okay, look at our crude oil. And that's the best example I can give you this afternoon. I have given that example on another forum. How much is our landing cost of fuel? How much does it cost us to fix our... Okay, let me say this very carefully. If I say fix our refinery, I'm not saying that by fixing our refinery, the price of crude oil will come down. No, it will not come down. It will just be available for us to be able to use whenever we need it. But if we fix our refineries, we will reduce our appetite for dollar. It then means that we will be exporting refined oil to countries that are in need of it. Saudi Arabia is doing the same thing. Egypt is in Africa, they are doing the same thing. So what is it going for Nigeria to export refined oil? Okay, do you know what it means for Nigeria to have food exported abroad? And now we imported the finished product, that is petroleum, in dollars. The dollars that we don't even have. That's what's killing our economy. So when we see NLC asking for the form of the refinance for our monitored refinery, it is simple as saying that let us focus on export of fuel. We have competitive cost advantage on oil. Our revenue, about 78% of our total foreign exchange earnings comes from crude oil. Imagine if we now refine the oil and export it. We are bringing more dollars into our economy, and we are running a way of compensation or gross demand for American dollar. And also, we need to also look at other African countries. You ask for two things. These are two things. People in this region, in our Sahel region, that can buy our products. You don't have to focus only on oil. You can diversify into agri-produce. We have Pedino everywhere in Bauchi, in Jigawa. We have bitumen in those states that are available. How can we refine this thing and export to our neighbors? With cost, transportation costs, we would have cost the demand that we have on dollars to do exports in that area. So we have an agreement under this AFTA trade corridor arrangement to be able to export neolithic currencies. If we do grateful, it's not embarrassing that for about 4 quarters that we have in Nigeria now that we have different results. No, okay. Government have to do things differently if they want different results.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Olayinka Sidiku. By the way, let me quickly put this. Nigeria imported 21. Nigeria become the highest importer of stockfish from Norway. About all this information was, interviewed the Nigeria. Now that we've established the fact that local production...
Can I teach you this?
Please, go ahead.
Do you know that it has been projected that in 2022-2023, which is, of course, we are half year 2023 now.
And of course, he's an economic expert, he's a banker, He's a financial analyst, and we've looked at a lot of things to domesticate everything. Exports, this as low as little as toothpicks into this country. It's really worrying. And the petroleum marketers have projected that between now, if the dollar continues to trade at 9.30, 9.50 in the parallel market, that the cost of petrol could go as high as 700 to 720 in the next couple of weeks. I think the government really needs to come into this. I mean, I watched, one economic analyst on national TV yesterday, and it was very brutal with his assessment, especially when he was analyzing the CBN report. And he said it clearly that the last 8 years, the Nigerian economy, the CBN, had never recorded that level of recklessness. And I saw it in the report. The report that was published by CBN actually indicted CBN itself. And it says that the lending rate to the government was overbloated for about 30 times. And a lot of people are asking serious questions. Should the suspended CBN governor be charged for unlawful possession of a pistol? Or we should be asking questions about how the Nigerian economy was managed in the last 8 years. He was CBN governor towards the end of the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. He served throughout the 8 years of former President Muhammadu Buhari. So maybe the right questions to be asked and not politicize all of these suspensions and arrests and all of that. Well, Mr. Sidiko, I will keep you on the line so that you get to hear some of the questions and comments that the callers will have to make. If there are some that you need to respond to, I would appreciate if you can respond to them.
Okay, I'll be here. Thank you.
Thank you. It's 0913-600-0410. I said it. Sometimes when I get to talk to my guest today, Mr. Sidiku, I just kind of go home really tired, and you're trying to just imagine how we can get out of this conundrum that we find ourselves as a country, how the Nigerian economy has been badly managed. By the way, when the former President Goodluck Jonathan was leaving office, Nigerian economy was projected as to be one of the best growing economy in Nigeria in terms of stability. Our GDP was kind of on the upward review. But I don't even know where we are right now. Let's get to talk. Let me hear what you have to say about what my guests have discussed on the show today.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Olaiwola.
Olaiwola, please put down the volume of your radio set, or you move away from it a little.
Yes. I'm in the main road. That is the issue.
Okay, please go.
My question is that we are talking about the importation. Before government encourage importation, we are looking at our local consumption, the production and the agricultural process in Nigeria. We have never met up with a local consumption. That is why importation become more. And government, in the last government, blacklist 49 items under the social market, or is it importation or FX. But at that moment, the economic actually become more. The bag of rice increasing from 7,000 to almost 13,000. This is the issue here we are talking. Let me just say a total analysis concerning our agricultural product before we begin to lay embargo or the ban on the importation. Because our product, in terms of agricultural production, I want to have success. Did you really meet up with our local consumption? That is the problem here. We are talking about to ban almost 49 items out of the system, and we don't even have any production consigned up. How are the nation going to sustain it? That is the problem here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olaiwola. Thank you for lending your thoughts to the conversation. I think everyone knows now, no matter how maybe not so informed you are about the way the economy works. I think everyone agrees that we need to increase our local production. We need to try to make sure that we focus on exporting some of our goods. But the government still owes Nigerians a lot in terms of regulation. Somebody told me one day that the cost of clearing a car now is even more than buying the car from whatever country you're buying it from. So you buy a car for maybe $3,000 and use about $5,000 to clear the car. I mean, you're asking again. Okay. 0913-600-0410. You can also keep your calls and your messages coming in. You're live on Mila 98.3 FM. This is the Situation Room. This program comes up every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5 p.m. I will basically do what we're doing right now. I will talk about government policies, how it affects us. And I like the fact that finally, Mr. Sidikou Olayinka feels the NSIPs that we have in this country are failed, because there's no way we'll be borrowing money and be distributing it for people to spend without proper data, without proper accountability to check. If you give someone loan, you should be able to monitor the loan and ask if the person actually used it for. So you come in with trader money, for instance, and you give people 20,000 naira to start small business, and this person has not even eaten. So why would I go and do business when I cannot even afford to put food on my table? Even if I start the business, I'll probably end up eating everything I'm selling. So let me ask, let me pick more calls, then we'll ask some of the questions that I have sent in already. Hello, good evening.
Okay, good evening.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Thank you. My name is Tom Peters.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm calling you from Ilifeju.
Okay.
Okay. As an entrepreneur, a lot of things is going on my table every day. I try to think, I try to organize myself to know exactly where we are going to. The analysis you guys have analyzed today, believe you me, is spot on, and it's a very deep one. Yes, we have to patronize our local made goods, for real. Okay, but there is no power, for us to produce. Okay, as we are discussing, something just, enter my brain. In 2007, 2008, there was world global meltdown. But Nigeria was not affected. Everything was as it is. The whole countries of the world was struggling. But Nigeria was super. What happened then? We have men and women who know their onion in the hands of our fair in Nigeria. That is what happened. We have more technocrats, those who knows what they are doing, not politicians. And you will know what become of us. We come out of it more stronger. But look at what is going on right now. The world economy has picked up. We are thinking. And nobody can just put his finger on what is going on in Nigeria. The government is confused. The politicians are confused. Please, can they get good technocrats to manage things for us? Because I don't know, as an entrepreneur, okay, we have invested here and we determined to be here, but the policies of the government is not helping us at all. Most especially during the last 8 years to 9 years right now, we don't know where we are. We don't know where we are going. We don't know any headway they are making for us. Please, if your analysts can just give us and talk to the government for us, they should do it as fast as possible.
Thank you.
I don't get it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm trying to link up back with Mr. Olayinka Sidikou. I think we lost that connection in the line of the conversation. I'm trying to link up back with him so that I can take back his position, because I was going to ask him. We started off a series last week. Was trying to focus on the appointments, or let me put it this way. Okay, we're back online. Mr. Sidikou, good evening, and thank you for joining us back.
Thank you very much.
I think we lost connection in the line of trying to connect with one of the callers. So I'm going to ask you. Last week I started a series on the show, and then we're looking at now that we're done with the screening of the ministers, and then we're expecting that any moment from now, Mr. President would assign, these qualified people in his wisdom, and assign them to their portfolios as ministers. You also talked about cutting down the cost of governance, and by the way, this will be the largest cabinet that we've formed since 1990. Last week we've covered the administration. Obviously, the one with the Ahmed Tinubu making the right choice in respect to who becomes the Minister of Finance in this country, and the CBN governor also. Don't forget that we have an acting CBN governor at the moment.
I think this is probably the most important ministry that people are looking at. Very, very important. People are waiting to see exactly who becomes the Minister of Finance and the CBN governor. We have already talked about, as economists, have already talked about the fiscal policy of government and the monetary policy of government. People are interested to see what happens to the interest rate, what happens to that's from the CBN, that's the monetary policy side, and what happens to the fiscal policy side, which includes the tax rate, the government spending, and how governments intend to share the responsibility amongst two important sector of our economy. There has to be synergy between both the CBN and the Ministry of Finance. Both of them are working towards price stability, employment, stable economic growth, all those things. So if they cannot work together, what we experience during the Buhari administration may repeat itself in the Tinubu administration. So there's a need for you to clearly understand that these two important sectors cannot work in isolation. Both of them have to come together and work. They have to discuss their policy. Despite that, the constitution provides that the CBN governor reports directly to the president. There must be a way where the minister can talk to the CBN governor, so both of them can reach a form of consensus in order for us to have or to stabilize this economy.
Okay.
Stabilize interest rate and find and navigate demand and supply in this economy. There has to be a way they can work together. Despite that, the constitution clearly states.
Good evening.
We are talking of where our refinery is not repaired and the GMC of NFPC remain nothing. Is it okay? I want to talk to your guest. And secondly, the central bank, have they finalized it? Have they finished everything? Have they submitted the report to Mr. President? Number two.
Prince Wise.
Yes.
The CBN audit report was released to the public, so I want to assume that it has gotten to the table of Mr. President. I would doubt that. I'm not sure it will be released to the public.
Finally, our naira is going down to the extent of $9 something $1, and we are having about 34 billion in our extra reserve. Why can't they bring that $2 billion down to Nigeria to make the naira counter? Because we have nothing to sell than fuel, they can cruise the oil. After cruise the oil, what else?
Thank you.
Do we need another thing than that?
Thank you,
and
Prince
the naira thing going down like this. Is it not possible for us to just bring like $2 billion or $3 billion to push the pain of this subsidy remover? That's my question.
Thank you very much, Prince Wise. Let me see if I can still squeeze in one more call. 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
Wow. Okay, good evening. This is Ben.
Been a while, Ben.
Thanks so much. My brother, I'm very busy somehow.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Look, Nigerians, sometimes I don't understand. To me, the naira is going to go. In fact, I'm expecting the naira in the next 1 year or two to get to 1,800 to $1. On here, we fail to do the right thing. The floating of a naira, the floating of the currency that was the new policy pulling of everything. Do you know that the world expert, the best financial expert in Nigeria, supported this floating of a naira of a thing? Now we find ourselves at this level today. Against it, I was expecting the government to do a kind of a currency swap with China. If Nigeria do the currency swap policy with China, the dollar is going to crash because 75% of whatever thing we consume in Nigeria that's import duty are from China.
Okay, I'm really struggling to hear you, Ben. I think I'll just have to let you go. Okay. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. OPEYEMI.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Your name and where are you calling from? Okay, I think we're really struggling trying to, link up with the calls. Mr. Sidiku, we have 1 minute to call it a day on the show. And from what you have said, I think the focus certainly had to be about we looking inwards and trying to fix some of the things that we can sell to the entire world so that we can earn. Is that the best that we can afford for now, or we hope that the government can bring up more policies that will reduce all of these and probably just, give us some quick fix?
Those are the things you can do. Basically, if I want anything, it's to reduce corruption. The level of corruption in Nigeria is absurd. Then you have to find a way to also end insecurity in Nigeria. Do you understand? So people can return, people in Kaduna, in Niger, Borno, Zamfara, Bauchi, and Benue, Jigawa can return back to the farm and cultivate their farms without the fears of being kidnapped or being killed on their farms. How these are the things that I need to have. Nigeria foreign reserve today is about $38 billion. The deficit is about $2.9 billion to fix at $30 billion. So it means that government is already putting money back to the economy directly or indirectly. If they do more than this, we will have it worse because it will increase inflation. So you cannot even go there. That is very good solution at all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sidiku, for joining me on the show today. I really, really appreciate your time with us.
Thank you very much for having me, and I want to thank our audience for taking their time to listen to us. Nigeria.
Thank you very much. And that's about the size of the package today. Like I said, most times when I'm done with having Mr. Olayinka here, it gives me a lot to go back and think about. But I hope the government will do the right thing. The people are really not having it easy. Stay out of trouble. My name is OPEYEMI. OPEYEMI, I can have a very good evening. Bye for now.
When your whole world comes crashing down, is look up. Assemble the team. It's showtime. The brains waking up.
What'd you have for breakfast?
We are the sound of Lagos, and this is Mainland 98.3 FM.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. Abia State bans Okada in Abba, Umahia metropolis. Bandits attack, kill 1 and abduct 7 others in Zamfara. National Board for Technical Education launches 1-year online programs for HND conversion to BSc. African Union hosts Niger talks as regime sends mixed signals. In business, CBN to expose banks trading illegal forex. On the foreign scene, Ethiopia's lower house approves Amhara state of emergency. In sports, Nigeria to begin pre-Olympic qualifying journey in Lagos as the Tigers play Senegal and Mali. Brazilian superstar Neymar set to complete big money transfer to Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal. That's the headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM. Details at 5:30.
I had a rumor that you were searching for the station to give you joy, laughter, and happiness. I had a rumor that the station you're searching for is right here. I mean, here. 98.3 Mainland FM, the sound of Lagos. When
the airwaves in your market become more and more crowded. It's time to break it open and really stand out. Broken Air is here.
on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
Mainland 98.3 FM, your number one radio. Reaching the stars, the sound of Lagos.
Back like I never left on the Niger Chat Down show on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. My name is BB, and whenever you hear the sound of my voice, you know it's time for me to bring to you the top 10 songs in the country. So without wasting time, let's get right into the show. On number 10 spot this week is a song titled Annabella by Kaid. Kaid is a fast-rising singer, and of course he's been nominated as the Rookie of the Year in the upcoming Edis Award 2023. Let's enjoy Annabella by Kaid.
You are now listening to the Niger Chat Down show on